All right, day 3. So let's tell you how today went. So anyway, ended up waking up at 7:30, and I'm like, man, you've been asleep for over 12 hours, and it's daylight, and you're wasting daylight. Time to get a move on. Drove towards Hoover Dam, and I stopped at the Railroad Pass Casino and had breakfast. They had a special $5.99 for 2 jackpot breakfasts. So I ate pretty much both of those, and I was good and full for my trip. So I bought a couple bottles of water and a Gatorade at a gas station on the way, and so I was loaded up with 2.5 liters of water, a Gatorade, and some other stuff for my hike down 1,000 feet towards the Colorado River, about 3.5 miles. So when I started hiking, and the sun was out, it was about 65 degrees, and I could feel the heat on my skin. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get a sunburn. But after about a mile, I got off in the canyon, and the walls were so high that it kept the sun off me the whole time, and I didn't have to worry about getting sunburned at all. Basically, by the time I left, the sun was lower down on the horizon, and it didn't really get to me. All right, so that's the way I've been jogging. I'm already 1 mile in, so that's about what, a third of the way, and I found a shady spot finally. Whew. But yeah, it's a pretty trail. Let's go. I'm jogging all the way to the river. It's been shady for a little while. I look down there. I wonder if there's a cave. I think you're supposed to go up and around these boulders here, so let's do that. Once I got down to the Colorado River, past the hot springs and stuff, I was just sitting there contemplating whether I should jump in the Colorado River and go swimming, or if I should hike up the river to the sauna cave, which would have required me to get wet and hike back with wet shoes or wet shorts. So I just ixnayed all that and just hung out for a minute, about 20 minutes, I guess, and then I started heading back up, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take my time and just explore all these boulder caves and camping spots on the way down. There were like 3 or 4 nice-sized gravel flat areas in the canyon where you could pitch a tent. You could cowboy camp in a couple of these caves, and only saw one baby fire pit where somebody tried to burn some twigs, but I expected to see more fire pits than that. I didn't. Now, at the Arizona hot springs, where you got to hike up and over this small, I don't want to call it a mountain range, but you have to hike up and over and get down to the hot spring. There were a lot more places where people were camping and having fires, but I totally prefer the Gold Strike Canyon over the Arizona Hot Springs hike. It was better, even though it was more technical and required some rope rappelling, and you had to use a rope to climb back out. But it was great. So wish I'd have brought some water shoes, then I could have, adventured a little bit more in the hot spring. I stopped at one hot spring a small one on the way back up and soaked my feet, but that's about all I did as far as hot spring adventures. So after hiking out of the canyon back up to the car, I headed back towards downtown Las Vegas, but my destination was Sam's because I wanted to go get a rotisserie chicken because I have some tortillas and some mayonnaise and stuff. I wanted to make some chicken roll-ups. I have to say, this is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I don't think it comes across on the camera, but it's just absolutely gorgeous down here with these tufa walls. Man, it's incredible. I turned on my Uber Eats app and just to see what would happen. And there were some really crappy jobs came across the phone, but then I saw a job where it was paying $27 for, I guess maybe 15. Well, it was about 12 miles, I guess. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. So I clicked it, went and grabbed somebody's pizza, and then I went to Taco Bell and grabbed, like, they had 5 Mexican pizzas and some other thing and 5 big Coca-Colas. So yeah, I stacked all that in the front seat of the Dodge Charger and drove out and dropped that off. And then I got 3 more jobs after that. Ended up making $52 in 2 hours. So not too bad. That paid for my parking here at the casino and pretty much all my gas. So after the 2 hours of working, delivering people's Uber Eats, I ended up getting to Sam's, and all the rotisserie chickens were sold out. So I bought some grilled chicken breast instead for $10, and I got a hot dog and a slice of pizza and a Diet Pepsi. And while I was there, I figured, you know what, I'll just go ahead and fill up on this cheap gas. So gas was $3.29 at Sam's. It's was $3.79, a little bit closer to downtown, and then $4 on the strip, 4 something. So I figured I fill up now, and in the morning I'll put a gallon in, up to a gallon, and that'll get me back to the rental car place, and it'll be full, and I won't have to worry about paying $4 a gallon for gas. But that's tomorrow, so I'm still talking about today. Yeah, so I ended up, leaving Sam's and driving back towards the hotel, and I went up and down the strip a little bit just to see the lights. And once I got back to the Excalibur, I pulled past the valet and went to the guest parking, whatever. So I pulled in there, and the whole lot was full. And I drove around and I waited for a second, and then I saw some people drive out, and I was like, oh, did they leave? Or are they looking for parts spots, or did they get tired of looking, or what? So pull over there, and sure enough, there was a front row parking spot. So I pulled the Dodge Brothers Charger into the spot there and unloaded all my stuff, hiked back up to the room, and cracked me a cold one. Well, actually, it wasn't cold. I put ice on it before I left, but once I got back, it was cool. Anyways, that was my day today, and good times. All right.